So, very welcome all of you in today's lecture. Today is the first lecture of banking in India, very basic, and I'll try to take it slow because banking is a big topic, and I would require at least 3 lectures to complete banking. And after this lecture, I assure you that you'll feel very comfortable in banking. So today we'll start with the basics of banking, the history of banking. So all that we'll be doing in today's lecture. Now, the topic is development and trends since independence. Now, before going ahead, what is a bank? Let's understand the definition of bank to give you a wider perspective. So, the concept of saving is very important in an economy for each one of you, all of us. Okay. So, if I say, what is saving and how do you induce saving in the economy? So, one is that you अपना saving जो भी है you keep at some place. Now, when you keep your money at some place, there is a challenge, and the challenge is that the money might be stolen because you'll keep money in some form, directly in the cash form or in the gold form. So at the same time, the money is not being used because basic belief in the economy is that you have to ensure that money also earns money. Okay, so money earns money, and that is where the financial system comes into picture. Now, financial system broadly consists of the banking system and the non-banking system. Banking system means you open account in the bank and you use bank. You put your money in the bank, आप बैंक में पैसा डालिए, and bank in return will give you decent interest. But bank will use your money, remember. But remember, it also comes with certain condition that your money is secure with the bank to a certain degree, not all, but to a certain degree. For example, right now, the money that you keep in bank, not all money is insured, a part of that money insured. But there's a strong regulation, money जो है जो money आपका जो है वो it will be there with you in the phase of the crisis. So you can keep your money in the bank. The second is non-banks. Non-bank can be areas of, let's say, market. You can invest in the market. You can invest in certain other avenues which is not as per regulation of RBI, that is banking system. So bank is, what is a bank? So these are household, and these household, they keep money in the bank. And when the household people keep money in the bank in the form of deposits, bank in return will give them interest. Now, what does bank do? Bank will use these deposits and they will lend this deposit to firms and companies who are in need of it. Okay, so bank can lend them in form of loan or credit. And in return, the firms will also pay interest. Now, let's say the interest paid by household is interest the household gets is IH, and interest paid by the firm is IF. Now, in order for the bank to be profitable, they will charge higher interest on their loan. So loan पे ज़्यादा interest charge करेंगे, and they will give less interest on the deposit. So the IF minus IH, you can say, is the income of the bank. So difference जो bank का income होता है वो interest से आता है. This is the income of the bank. Now, bank will also provide other services. These are basic services, but bank can also provide other services. It can give the credit to the household also. It can act on your behalf. So bank has wide range of services that it can provide. Majorly bank का income interest से आता है, but bank while providing services can also charge money for those services. So that is how a typical banking system works. But this is just one maybe phase of that. We'll understand that in a typical economy, which is a controlled economy or regulated economy, how the bank system works. एक तो ये option है. दूसरा option है that household people can put the money in the markets. This is called financial market. We will not study financial market today. So financial market is a big topic. So again, household people can invest here, and in return they can get. Similarly, the firms can also they can take loan or can invest in the financial market, and so firms can also raise money from the financial market, raise capital, you can say. So that is how a typical economy works, where there's a bank financial system. So what is a bank? Bank is a financial institution or intermediary that accepts deposit and channel those deposits into lending activities either directly or through the markets. So that is how a typical bank works. So bank connects customer with capital deficit to customers with capital surplus. Now इसमें जो household होते हैं, they are capital surplus, they have more money, and they have money because of the saving. Let's say you have a salary and whatever after जो भी आप खर्च करते हो, after consumption, whatever money is left is your saving. Now that is where you keep your saving in the bank. Now firms are always are trying to grow or expand, so they are deficit, they are capital deficit, and that is where financial institutions in form of bank and non-banks can come into. They can rescue the firm because a company को grow करने के लिए पैसा चाहिए होता है, to expand, to meet the requirements of day-to-day requirement, and for that they can either go to bank or they can go to the markets. So that is how a typical monetary system, banking system, or you can say financial system works. Now let's go and understand the history of the bank, and for that मैं आपको थोड़ा सा बताता हूँ. So banking in India can be broadly divided into two phases. That is pre-independence and the post-independence. The post-independence can be further divided into the pre-reform period and the post-reform period. Now, reform happened in 1991, so this is from 1951 to 1991, and this is post 1991. अभी जो pre-independence था, so Indian bank system evolved in this phase. So before than that, we also had a bank system historically, but that was an unregulated banking system. So we always also call them as informal banking system. So we have traders, we have money lenders, we have shroffs. तो ये लोग पैसा देते हैं. But the problem with these people is that the money is they charge very high rate of interest, and they can also exploit people, right? And that is where there was a need of a banking system which is more formal and regulated. So modern bank system is more formal and regulated. Now let's understand how the pre-independence in banking कैसे हुआ. So there were two kind of banking system that evolved. One was the foreign banks, and the second was the Indian banks. In the foreign banks, broadly in the period of 19th century, हमारे इंडिया में presidency banks were started by British people. Okay, and these presidency banks, they all merged in 1921, sorry, and it became Imperial Bank. Okay, so 19th century में the Bank of Kolkata, Presidency Bank of Kolkata, Mumbai, so these banks, Chennai, they came in the beginning. और ये banks, foreign banks थे, they were controlled by British people, and the banks served only British merchants, British traders, British bureaucrats, and the purpose of the foreign bank was to, of course, earn money. As I mentioned, these are commercial banks. So most of the bank system that we have in India is commercial banks. So ये इनका objective था to earn money. So these foreign banks in the British period, they have an ultimate objective to earn money. But the good thing was that these banks also were self-regulated, or they had also the power to issue currency. अपने currency भी issue कर सकते थे. But what happened in 1929? There was a Great Depression. And Great Depression was a very big economic crisis in the world, which almost continued for one decade, from 1930 to almost 1940. So the foreign banks came under this exposure of Great Depression. Similarly, Indian bank parallelly भी start हुए थे. So Bank of Baroda, different provinces in India, individual people or the big players, they started their own Indian bank, and actually they were serving the Indian traders and all, right? So इनका भी एक parallel growth हो रहा था. Now all these were serving and doing business. Now remember, this pre-independence phase was a phase under British rule, and we had a free market economy. Free market economy का मतलब है the economy was free. Government का regulation and interference was less. Unlike today, we have so many institutions which regulates and control. And though even today we have relatively a free market, but still we have a lot of institutions to control. For example, for banking system, the RBI is a regulator. So they are called bankers bank, or they are called father of the they are the bank which control that. So similarly, so that is how things are there. Now in the pre-independence phase, these foreign banks, they had an objective to earn money, और उनका कोई they were not regulated. And but when the Great Depression happened, now most of these banks had exposure in the world economy. Okay, so they were involved in trade, export, import, and not only the American companies suffered, but even Indian companies suffered a lot. And that is where it was believed that we have to regulate. And in 1934, RBI Act was created under Hilton Committee Commission. और फिर 1935 में RBI came into existence. So RBI as a body came into 1935, and the purpose was to regulate the banking system. And this RBI was said to be central bank around that time. तो इनका ऑब्जेक्टिव था कि हम बैंक के ऊपर एक बैंक बनाएंगे which will regulate the bank system, and we will define the rules of the game. So how you do bank, how do you business, because ultimate objective of a banking system is to secure the interest of the depositors. आप जब बैंक जाते हो, so you have a faith in the bank system. You know that this bank will keep my money and will keep my money safe. At the same time, this bank will also give me decent return as promised. So it is very important that we ensure that the banking system is maintained, regulated, and controlled. At the same time, कोई उसमें anomaly ना हो, कोई problem ना हो. Because depositors का interest secure करना बहुत जरूरी. Otherwise, because the whole economy, it not only works on economic principles, but economy also works on the principle of faith, on the principle of confidence. So you have a confidence in bank system, then only you'll go and deposit. आप देखो, when you go and deposit money in a public sector bank, now that trend is changing, but you feel that that bank is relatively more stable. Government bank hai. Unlike when you go and deposit in private bank, you have a number of doubts. But if I talk in today, the private banks in India are much more secure than public bank, but because the private bank know that they have a higher responsibility to secure their credentials. Unlike the public bank में तो government पीछे खड़ा है, तो उनको पता है कि कुछ गड़बड़ होगा तो government संभाल लेगा. But private banks are on their own. So that is where it was important, and the RBI was created in 1934 as a regulator of banking system. Then India got independence, and ये जो सारे बैंक थे, they were independently operating. So what our first government of India did कि उन्होंने क्या किया, banks को nationalize करना start किया. And in 1955, Imperial Bank was nationalized and it became SBI. So अभी जो आप SBI देख रहे हो, it was basically a historically Presidential Bank, Imperial Bank, and SBI. So 1955 में SBI was nationalized. That means, what is the meaning of nationalization of bank? Government is basically controlling the bank, or it has purchased the bank. वो बैंक को अपने control में ला लेती है. Again, the bank system started, but again government had a lot of doubts, because जो हमने post independence economic model adopt किया, that was a socialist model. And in socialist model, government tries to control institutions, especially the financial system. So they believe that जो banks हैं, especially the foreign Indian banks, they are serving their own interests, and they need to be controlled and regulated. And that is where in 1969 ये जो Indian banks थे, इनको हमने nationalize कर दिया 1969 में, and in 1980. I'll discuss that in the coming slides. So they were nationalized. So practically in 90, majorly all banks in India, or most of the banks in India, I'm talking about the bigger banks, they were under government control. But there were problems, and eventually in 1991 the reforms happened in economy. हमने new economic policy को unveil किया, and under that banking reform was also conducted. So that is the whole nutshell in the history, and let's understand all that. ये समझ में आया सभी लोगों को? Is this clear to all of you? Because I'll go in detail of each of these phases and we'll discuss. हमारा जो focus रहेगा, this focus will be mostly on the post-reform period. Is this clear to everybody? Sound नहीं आ रहा है? अफसाना बेटा, I think everybody is able to hear. There's some problem at your end. Okay, chalo. So that is how it is there. Little slow. मेरी आवाज slow आ रही है? Is it? My voice is little. It's a little slow in terms of speed. ठीक है. अरे don't worry किरणप्रीत, ये कहानी की तरह समझाया ना इसको, इसलिए थोड़ा फास्ट था. Now I'll go in phases and we'll be understanding this in detail. So in the pre-independence, there were two type of bank: Indian banks and foreign banks. The foreign banks were called presidency banks, who had right to issue currency, and they were created in 1806 in Bengal, 1840 in Bombay, and 1842 in Madras, and they were merged as Imperial Bank of India. These banks served the British merchants, the traders, British Army, and British citizens. Similarly, we had Indian parallel banking system also, which served the rich Indians and merchants in the foreign trade. So that is how the banking system were existing. Now, due to Great Depression, Indian banks suffered huge losses. So Great Depression kahan hua tha? It was started in America, and there was a stock market crash. In USA, it started. Basically, it was a market failure. It was a market failure. So that Great Depression impacted the whole world, because around at that time, the world was, you can say, it was an economy which was integrated. जैसे free market economy था, because around that time we had only two kind of countries. Either the countries were under the were colonies, or there were countries which were rulers. So Great Depression impacted all the banks, including Indian banks across the world. So RBI was created on the recommendation of Hilton Young Commission, and then in 1935, RBI as a regulator came into picture. Now, in the post-independence phase, when India got independence, so we had all the banks were private banks only. Okay? And now government had a major objective of social reform, social justice. In 1934, where RBI Act was created in 1934. So this was the Act of Parliament, remember. पहले आप act बनाते हो, and under that act you created RBI. So RBI came into 1935. So Act was in 1934. Okay, Ashish. So in the post-independence phase, there was an increase in the bank branches, which again mainly focused on merchant and the industrial houses. So आप देखो बैंक जो थे independence के बाद, they were private banks, and naturally they were serving their masters, or because the owners of the banks were industrial houses mainly. So one thing what government did, that they nationalized the Imperial Bank, which was naturally the foreign, which was nothing but historically foreign banks. और SBI आज भी इंडिया का सबसे बड़ा बैंक है, and SBI is also, you can say, SBI has all the major funds of government, they come to our SBI only even today. So SBI is the biggest bank in India. So it was nationalized. Now let's understand the history. Now the banking development started in 1949, because 1949 में हमने RBI को पहले nationalize किया. RBI was nationalized, and the defining moment of Indian banking system came where Banking Regulation Act came by the Parliament of India, and the objective was to give power to RBI. RBI को हम बहुत सारा power देंगे so that RBI can regulate, and the structural reforms were also brought in banks, which means how the bank will work, what are the limitations, what will be the board structure, everything was there. Now that changed the dynamics on ground, and people, the bank जो branches थे वो बढ़ना start हो गए. So after independence, we saw exponential growth in the bank system, and mainly it was deposit mobilization. So deposit mobilization means that you are keeping your money in the bank now. पहले आपकी जो savings थी वो आप कहीं छुपा रहे थे. You were putting at maybe some locker or some place, or you dug in the ground and you put money in form of gold. Now what you do, you start putting money in the bank, and there was an increase in deposits. But deposit are broadly of two types. When you go to the bank, you open the accounts. These are deposits for banks. So one deposit is called demand deposits. Okay. Demand deposit is when you open saving account. Business people open current account. Similarly, there are time deposits. Time deposits like recurring deposit. Recurring deposits are deposit where you have to आपको regular पैसा डालना होता है, or fixed deposit. You put a fixed money here. Now, why they are called demand deposit? Because on demand you can withdraw this money anytime. But in a time deposit, there's a time limit to that. आप उसको जब चाहो withdraw नहीं कर सकते. Okay, so that is how deposits, the demand deposit and time deposit came into picture. Now, if you see here, there was an increase in time deposit related to demand deposit. What does it mean? It means that people have savings, and when they have savings, they will try to secure the saving. Mainly demand deposit आप day to day use के लिए use करते हो, because you want to withdraw money anytime. So time deposit increased, SBI was nationalized, and there was interest on the term lending. So increase होना चाहिए, increase in the term lending. Term lending means जो loan मिलता है, we call them as term loans. So when you take a loan, there's a term period defined, so it's called term loan. Also, in order to ensure that money जो आपका है वो secure रहे, Deposit Insurance Corporation was started in 1962 as a protection to depositors. So जो भी पैसा आपका बैंक में होता है, that has insurance also, which means that in case bank goes bankrupt, let's say, which is a very less possibility. But let's say अगर किसी कारण बैंक liquidates और बैंक goes bankrupt, then in that situation जो आपका इंश्योरेंस वाला पैसा है वो आपको वापस मिलेगा. Earlier it was 1 lakh rupees, now it is 5 lakh rupees. So up to 5 lakh deposit, your money in the bank is insured. Every bank. ठीक है. तो जो भी आपके मान लो आपके 4 बैंक में 4 अकाउंट हैं, so every bank up to 5 lakh deposit is insured. So that is how Deposit Insurance Corporation was created, so that people have faith in the bank system. So this is how the banking system started in India, and it started on a very good note. Okay, is it clear to everybody? Okay, chalo, good. Now, there was a problem, remember what I said. The problem was that Indian government felt, now what was the planning model? So let's go a little in the history. So what was the planning model of India? So in 1951, India adopted socialist pattern of the economy, right? And under socialist pattern, we took the idea of Russian model, and 5-year plans were created. And under these 5-year plans, government they said that we'll make planning commission, और एक हम planning commission जो body होगी, it will make 5-year plans, and these 5-year plan will set the vision for every 5 year, and that is how country will grow. Under the socialist pattern, government believed that government should try to control the economy. Now here private will be allowed, but in a limited degree. Mostly government will control the economy. Now in the period of 1950s and 60s, there was a feeling among government that bank or financial institutions are not doing enough, because one of the objective of banking system is to provide credit, to give loans, to open bank accounts, to ensure financial literacy or financial inclusion. So all that thing never happened. Financial inclusion का मतलब क्या है? Financial inclusion, that means you are ensuring that the banking services are reaching to the common people, especially the weaker and vulnerable section of the population. So banking service है, it's a public service. No, those people are not doing आपके लिए आप पे एहसान नहीं कर रहे हैं. They are supposed to give services to the people. So that was not happening, because most of the private bank, or rather all private bank except SBI, which was nationalized in 1955, all banks were private banks which were controlled by big businesses or big houses, and they had only urban presence, rural presence nahi tha. The big cities, because they are commercial banks, and commercial banks have objective to earn money. तो आप वहीं जाओगे जहां आपकी कमाई होगी, where you'll earn money. You will not open bank just because somebody wants you to open a bank. Unlike today, it is different. Today 25% of the branches have to be in rural area. बैंक की पे उस mandation है, बैंक अगर बैंक open होता है, they have to open banks in the rural area. So that was the problem. And Indira Gandhi, when she was ruler, she believed that banking system is not doing enough, and she wanted to bring banking system in her own planning development model, and she nationalized the bank in 1969. तो जो भी बैंक 50 करोड़ से ऊपर का जिनका डिपॉजिट्स था, all the banks were nationalized. So first 14 banks were nationalized in 1969, and then in 1980 the banks with 200 plus crore deposits were nationalized, and there were 6 more banks. So 20 banks in total were nationalized after 1969 and one in 1955. इस तरह से हमने जो है बैंक nationalization किया with the objective so that banking or banks as an institution can be used for development and growth of the country as per planning model. So that is how the nationalization of banks became or happened. So what are the reasons for nationalization? The first was the control of big businesses over bank. Okay, so big business people control the bank. The second was Government believed, if you see India, India was backward, especially the northern part of India was very backward. The rural India was backward. So government believed that if we open the banking system of banks in rural areas or backward areas, the resources will reach to the backward areas and rural areas, and development will start. And for that, हमको बैंक को force करना पड़ेगा. You can't force the private banks because they are controlled by the their private masters. But in a government bank, government can do that. Further, government believe that ensure adequate financial assistance to priority sectors. Now there are sectors. What are priority sectors? Sectors which government believes, or for that matter, logically, which are important for the economy. Today, if I say priority sector is agriculture, priority sector is small industries, because agriculture employs 50% of India's population. Small industries are employment generating sectors. Okay, they are highly labor absorbing. Similarly, maybe export can be again priority sector. अभी गवर्नमेंट ने अभी इंफ्रा को भी यहाँ जोड़ दिया है, सोशल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, एजुकेशन, हेल्थ. So our objective is to ensure that financial assistance is given to priority sectors and balanced regional development happens. What is balanced regional development? The development should not be lopsided. If you look, when India got independence, some states had an advantage. Even today, if I talk about Gujarat or Karnataka or for that matter Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, these are industrial state. इनको आज भी फायदा मिलता है. And that is where government believes that we need to develop other areas which have not happened so far. Northern India, UP, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Rajasthan, Northeast states, Odisha. So these states also needs to be developed. Then to prioritize credit allocation according to the plans and policies. So plans and policies means 5-year plans or government policies. So government came with new concept. They came with a concept called social banking, so that हम लोग गरीबों को हम लोग लोन देंगे. So Prithvi has a question. Sir, nationalization means share of government is 100%. Well, yes, it was 100% around that time because nationalization is a whole concept. But if you have more than 51% of the share, that means you are the owner as well. Okay. So more than 50% आपका own, 51% है तो भी आप owner हो. At that time, government owned 100%. Remember, when they nationalized, उन्होंने पूरा बैंक को purchase कर लिया. But even 51% share if you have, you are the owner. Okay. Then to ensure financial inclusion, we ensure that the banking services reach to rural areas, backward areas. तो financial inclusion में क्या करते हैं हम लोग? It has multiple pillars. One is, the first is to ensure that banking services are given. So banking and payment services are given to people. The second is people should get credit. Okay. Third is people should have an option of investment. आप बैंक में invest भी कर सकते हो. And the fourth is now either in bank or via bank. Okay, so you can invest in bank or via bank you can invest. And the fourth is, of course, you should have insurance. So these are 4 pillars of financial inclusion: banking, credit, investment, and insurance. So that is the objective today. अगर आप देखो गवर्नमेंट ने अभी क्या पेमेंट बैंक स्टार्ट किया. So we have Airtel Payment Bank, Paytm Payment Bank, and we have so many Amazon Pay Bank. Then similarly uh, we have small finance banks. We have cooperative banks. We have rural cooperative bank. We have urban cooperative bank. We have regional rural banks. We have normal commercial banks, foreign banks, private banks, public sector banks. So we have range of institutions which help in the financial inclusion, and that was the objective कि हम लोग bank branches open करें, and the option is given. Yes. Okay. So now WhatsApp is to have the option of payment. Similarly, to encourage a new class of entrepreneurs. So I have a good idea, I have a decent idea, or I have a new innovative idea, but that idea itself is not enough. I need to get support, I need to get credit, I need to get some kind of help, and that is where financial system is very important. Now today, if you want to take loan, you can go, just have to prove that there is an idea. You can get collateral free loan, आपको मिल सकता है. So that was the objective. Also, the banks are managed by families, and hence the professionalization was lacking. So they said, let's bring professional management to banks and recruit the right people. So these were the factors or reason why the banks were nationalized. NABARD was made in 1982. Okay, and the objective of NABARD was rural development. Ashish. So these are the reasons for nationalization of the banks. We'll study NABARD. NABARD is not in banking. It is a part of other financial institutions. Okay? They're not commercial bank. No. So we'll take that in the coming lectures. Don't worry. So that is the reason for nationalization. फिर post nationalization क्या हुआ? Government brought new schemes. So they came with a scheme called lead bank scheme. Lead bank scheme में government ने क्या किया? They asked the district to adopt banks to adopt districts. Okay, the branch were expanded. There was progress in branch expansion. Numerical increase in the branches happened. Branch opening happened in rural and unbanked areas. And attempts were also made to correct regional imbalances. Now, आपको lead bank scheme का थोड़ा बताता हूँ because this is important. Now, when the banks were nationalized after 1969, it was believed that how do we develop the rural area और जो plan और priorities के goal हैं उनको हम कैसे meet करें? That was a basic moot question which banks had to answer. So the government came with a scheme called lead bank scheme. Rather, RBI came and they said, what we'll do, let's say there are 20 banks and there are 600 districts in India. So I will ensure that every bank are allotted certain districts, let's say 30. Okay, so 30 in 2600. So every bank will be given 30 districts and they will focus that most of the branches by, let's say, bank one will be in these 30 districts. Now, bank can open their branches in all the districts, but these 30 districts will have the priority. Now, you have a small work to do. Just after the class, you can Google it and you can look which is the lead bank in your area. Now, today it is a little difficult to find, but very easy to find lead bank is जिस बैंक का ज्यादा branch होगा आपके area में, that is basically a lead bank. Now, today, since we have so many new banks have come up and options have come up and private and so many options are there, so you might not be able to identify. But I used to always wonder, and I'm telling you maybe 20 years ago, that why do I see more branches of one bank in one city and other bank branches in other city? And that is why, because government started with lead bank scheme. So जो district adopt करता है particular bank, they will have more branches in those districts, especially rural areas. And for example, in my home city, a Union Bank is a lead bank. In Lucknow, Bank of India is a lead bank. Okay, so every city was under certain lead bank. So that is how the concept of lead bank came into picture. Okay. Then the banking sector played an important role in financial intermediation, and the savings were mobilized in the form of deposits. So लोगों ने deposits जो है बहुत तेजी से बढ़े. Lead bank. You want to know about lead bank, Kiranpreet? Every district of India will have certain lead bank. And this lead bank will open most of the branches in this district. So basically the idea of lead bank was कि हम districts को adopt करें. तो जो बैंक है उसको इंडिया में बहुत सारे districts adopt करने थे, and they will focus more branches in that city. Also, they will also try to find out that what are the sectors or areas of that area, or sectors or areas of development in that area. For example, Banaras is famous for Banarsi sari. Okay, some places famous for, let's say, iron work. Okay, so every city will have certain important area. Similarly, Lucknow is famous for chicken kurtas. I mean, it's a cloth. It's a type of a clothing. So what these lead bank will do, they will identify the sectors which are famous in some particular districts, and they will try to promote that. So that was the basic objective कि आप सिर्फ बैंक ही नहीं खोलोगे. They will also identify that what is famous in particular district and उसको promote करने का वो focus करेंगे. So that is how the banking system lead bank scheme was there, and they had a service approach. They had कि हमारा area defined होगा, हम इस area में ज़्यादा service देंगे. So that is how the lead bank came into picture. Now, if you see during this period after 1969, the bank growth happened at a very high pace. In the pre-nationalization phase, the bank growth was 9.5%, But after 1969, the bank growth almost 20% every year they were growing, and similarly, the growth was very high uh, in all the phases. So even today, we see the bank growth is very high, and that is how post-nationalization banking happened. But एक problem है. Problem क्या है? Now I'll ask you a very basic question and tell me, if you go to a bank, to a private bank and a public bank, what difference do you feel when you go to a private bank and public bank? आपको क्या लगता है क्या difference है? Hmm? What difference do you feel? Do you feel that the private banks, they give you more importance, they give you better services, they give you respect, the lunch breaks are shorter, service is better in private bank, okay, services are better, sir, quality of service are different, okay, sir, much better in private because there's a pressure on them, okay, fair enough. So you're right, private bank systematic work hota hai, chalo theek hai. So तो गवर्नमेंट ने तो नेशनलाइज किया है, मोर प्रोफेशनल, ओके, मन इज सेइंग दे आर मोर प्रोफेशनल, गुड, यू आर राइट, फास्ट सर्विसेज देन गवर्नमेंट, ओके. नाउ गवर्नमेंट ने उल्टा सोचा, गवर्नमेंट ने सोचा व्हेन बैंक्स विल बी नेशनलाइज्ड दे विल बी वर्किंग एज पर ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट. बट रिमेंबर, अराउंड दैट टाइम गवर्नमेंट is controlling the bank system, which means the banks are being controlled by the respective ministries or ministers, right? So I am a local MLA of a place, and now a bank branch is open. So I will use my local clout and make sure that bank will serve the interests of my people or the thing that I want to do. Why? Because now it is a government bank, so I will make sure that these banks serve the interests what I feel. So suddenly these banks which were nationalized, they were not performing. And also remember, government is also forcing development, or let's say priority of social pressure on them. Just say government is forcing them to do welfare initiatives. For example, PM Jan Dhan account is mostly opened in Indian, the public bank. Private banks will not open PM Jan Dhan account. The rural area, if you see, most of the branches are from public sector. Private sector bank, people rarely go to rural area. They might go, but very few cases. They might go to semi-urban area. उनके पास option होता है तो semi-urban में चले जाते हैं. They don't go to a hardcore rural area. A hardcore rural area, mostly you'll find public banks are there. So the problem started that the bank started facing losses because there was pressure on them. The government regulated, the RBI regulated under the pressure of government. RBI had to force to give them, certain, let's say, I'm giving you more deposit interest rate. Everything is regulated. Interest भी bank government regulate कर रहा है. So that led to a situation where these banks, they started facing losses. And objective was to open the bank and ensure maximum credit is disbursed among the people who are needy. But अभी बैंक जो है बिजनेस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से नहीं सोच रहा है. दे आर वर्किंग फ्रॉम अ वेलफेयर ऑब्जेक्टिव, एंड द पीपल इन बैंक्स दे हैड नो कंट्रोल. So let's say I'm a bank manager, I have no control over, because I have to follow what government is saying. Government is saying give loans to farmers, government is saying give loans to these people, give loans to those people, even though those people might not be able to give back to me. Now one is of course emotional aspect, yeah, needy aspect, but other is the economic aspect. As a manager of the bank, I have to ensure my banks performs, and at the same time I also have to understand that the business is coming or not, because ultimately it is a commercial bank, so profitability has to be there. So under the welfare garb, all these banks started facing huge losses, and RBI regulation and control made it even tougher. And that is where in the phase of 1970s and in 80s, the public sector banks suffered heavy losses, and we'll try to understand that why it happened. So there were issues with nationalization. The first was administered interest rate. What is administered? So let's say economics says the bank should give 4 to 5% interest rate. But government is forcing them to give interest rate on 7 to 8% on, let's say, fixed deposits. No, this is not right. So administered interest rate, election nazdeek aaya. So what do you do in order to please the middle class? What do? You force that the banks are given, आप मिडिल क्लास को खुश करने के लिए आपने इंटरेस्ट एफडी रेट आपने बढ़वा दिया बैंक से. Now that is not right. Similarly, there was political interference. There were loan mela. Now loan mela, and the loans were given to unworthy people, unworthy creditors. अभी मुझे बैंक आज लोन देता है, so bank will check my history, they will check my CIBIL score, they will check my credit history, they will check if I have previous loans. If I have some previous loan, am I paying those loans on time? Similarly, banks will also check that what is my income in terms of my ITR, income tax return, and do I have a scope to take new loans or not? So these were the approaches where government ensured that the banking system had to work under the approach of the economics of the banking. But उस टाइम क्या था, गवर्नमेंट कंट्रोल कर रहा है बैंक्स को, loans were given to people who might not be worthy creditors. Worthy creditors means somebody who will be in a situation to pay the loan back. Then आपने लोन वापस नहीं किया, the manager will push you to give back the interest, or give back the loan or the EMI. But again, you do not listen to that. फिर बैंक कोर्ट चला जाता है, फिर कोर्ट में आपका केस फंस जाता है. If the loan are not returned properly on time, the loans become NPA. Okay, NPA means non-performing asset. सो सिविल कोर्ट केसेस बढ़ना स्टार्ट हो गए. नाउ बैंक का काम नहीं कि वो कोर्ट जाके केस लड़े, दे डोंट हैव टाइम्स फॉर दैट, दे आर डूइंग फॉर डूइंग बिजनेसेस. सो ऑल दीज प्रॉब्लम्स वर देयर. द रेगुलेटरी सिस्टम वाज नॉट सपोर्टिंग देम सो दैट दे कैन. आज तो ऐसा नहीं, आप बैंक से लोन दो तुरंत कोर्ट का नोटिस आएगा. एंड अगर if it's a bigger loan, then you can mortgage the property and you can give the bank will be able to maintain that. Then there were trade union issues. Trade union issues means the banking employees जो थे, because banks were in losses, so they were not being able to get good salaries or salary hike, and they were demanding high salaries, but banks were already in losses. बाद में VRS लेके आए. What is VRS? Voluntary Retirement Scheme. In order to make banks more agile and flexible, so voluntary retirement scheme लाया गया कि आपको हम retirement कर देंगे. People who are not working properly, they should be retired. So that was opposition from there as well. आरबीआई के जो रिजर्व रिक्वायरमेंट थे वो बहुत ज्यादा थे, सो दैट इम्पैक्टेड. व्हाट आर रिजर्व रिक्वायरमेंट? whatever money comes into the bank, a part of that has to go in RR, reserve requirement. And वो जो है आरबीआई फोर्स करता है बैंक को that you can't use that money, so that the deposits money is secure. I'll explain this concept, don't worry. Then it was very difficult to get loans for businesses क्योंकि loans बहुत costly हुआ करते थे. If bank is in loss and RBI का रूल स्ट्रिक्ट है तो बैंक आर फोर्स्ड टू गिव लोन एट हाई इंटरेस्ट रेट. टुडे इट इज वेरी इजी, आपको 8% 9% पे लोन मिल जाता है. यू टेक अ लोन, इफ यू टेक अ मुद्रा लोन टुडे यू गेट एट 9%. इफ यू टेक अ व्हीकल लोन you get at 11.9 10 11%. A home loan at maybe 8%. Now that is very less. There was a time that getting loan used to be 14 15% 17% on an average. So इतना ज्यादा जब इंटरेस्ट रेट होता है तो who going to pay loan or who's going to take loan, because आपको बिजनेस में जनरेट करना पड़ेगा. So these were the problems of the banking. और अगर loans easily नहीं मिलेगा, so it will impact your business, your economics. Economic growth will be impacted, employment will be impacted, GDP will be impacted, because if the loans are not अगर loans easily नहीं होगा तो credit flow नहीं होगा, credit flow नहीं होगा तो businesses नहीं होंगे, and all things will be interlinked. So the very objective of nationalization, that government wanted development to happen, at the same time welfare, that was not happening as per the expectation, and banks came under heavy losses. So that was the problem with the nationalization, and that is where in 1991 जब crisis हुआ इंडिया में, we call that BOP crisis, that is balance of payment crisis, then the banking reforms were suggested, and then government had to revamp the banking system. And today, even today, we have problem with banking system, but at least it is better than what it was there in 70s and 80s. So these were issues of nationalization. Now मैं थोड़ा सा आपको reserve requirement के बारे में बताऊंगा, and I just need some 10-15 minutes of yours because I'll make a big diagram. So you can make this diagram in your piece of paper or whatever. So how does a bank work typically? So these are household people, and household people, they keep money in the banks. Now we keep our money in form of deposits in the bank, right? And bank will give us interest. Let's say I1. Now these deposits can be of broadly two types. These can be time demand deposits, or these could be time deposits. So demand deposit could be your saving account, जो आप account खोलते हैं, saving account. or they can be current account. Similarly, time deposit can be recurring deposit, में RD लिख देता हूँ, and fixed deposit FD. But remember, deposits क्या होता है? Deposit किसका पैसा है? These are the money of the household people. So banks are supposed to ensure that this money, which is in the form of deposit, are secured. And these are nothing but these are called liabilities of bank. Because tomorrow you have to return, the banks you have to return this money with interest to the household people. तो बैंक के लिए liability होता है. Now this deposits, let's say a bank में 120 crore रुपए deposit आता है. Let's take an example. In 15 days of time, 120 crore rupees of deposits come in the banking system. But ये जो deposit आता है, some deposits will withdraw and some deposits will be there. So let's say in the 15 day 120 crore is coming, but 20 crore is withdrawal. 20 crore जो है 120 crore आता है and 20 crore is withdrawal. इसको हम withdraw करते हैं. कौन withdraw करते हैं? People like you and me. जैसे हमारा salary आया, जैसी salary आया हम withdraw करेंगे. So people, the saving account people withdraw, current account business वाले वो withdraw करेंगे. So let's say the total money in the bank, net money is called 100 crore. तो ये 100 crore net पैसा आया 15 days में, let's say. Now, ये जो deposit आता है, now these deposits are nothing but these are liabilities. So government, जो RBI का ruling है वो कहता है these are called gross demand and time liabilities. इसको बना लेना properly. And this is called GDTL. So 120 करोड़ इज GDTL, जो ग्रॉस मीन्स जो अभी तक आया है, बट इसमें से 20 करोड़ डिपॉजिट हो जाता है, विड्रॉ हो जाता है, -20 करोड़. सो टोटल मनी जो आता है उसको बोलते हैं रिमेनिंग वन नेट डिमांड एंड टाइम लायबिलिटीज. ओके, सो इट इज कॉल्ड NDTL. सो NDTL का मतलब ये कि NDTL इज द एक्चुअल मनी कमिंग द बैंक इन 15 डेज. 120 करोड़ आया, 20 करोड़ विड्रॉ हो गया. सो नेट मनी जो इंडिया में सॉरी द बैंक में आया 15 डेज कॉल्ड NDTL, नेट डिमांड एंड टाइम लायबिलिटीज. बट अब यहाँ RBI बैठा हुआ है. अब बैंक क्या चाहता है? तो ये पैसा NDTL वाला है, इसको बैंक लोन दे. बट देन RBI रेगुलेशंस कम्स इन एंड RBI कहता है नहीं, यू हैव टू फॉलो रिजर्व रिक्वायरमेंट, RR. And typically there are two reserve requirement and they are called as CRR, जिसको आप बोलते हैं कैश रिजर्व रेशियो, and SLR, that is statutory liquidity ratio. Okay, GDTL means total money, demand liability और time liability. जो पैसा आता है that is called gross. Gross means total demand and time liabilities. So जो total money बैंक में आएगा that will be GDTL. Okay, Ashish. Now this CRR and SLR is there. Now ये CRR SLR है, this is now CRR is with RBI. I mean ये पैसा RBI के पास रखवाना पड़ेगा. RR is out of NDTL. So right now CRR is 3%, which means 3% of the NDTL will be kept by RBI. और ये RBI के लॉकर में वॉल्ट में रख जाएगा. Similarly, right now SLR is 18.5. Okay, which means 18.5 और ये बैंक के साथ ही रहेगा. बैंक will not keep this money in the RBI, but bank will keep this money in the form of cash, in the form of gold or government securities. Okay, either government securities, gold or cash. ठीक है? So SLR is in the form of gold, cash or government security. Okay, now if I add both of them, कितना हो जाएगा? 18.5 is 3, 18.5 plus 3 is 21.5. So 100 minus 21.5, 100 क्या है? 100 CR जो है हमारा लोन है, उसका 21.5% कितना हुआ? 21.5 CR. So 100 minus 21 is 88.5 CR. Now bank can lend only this much money because not 88, sorry 78. Bank can lend only जो रिजर्व रिक्वायरमेंट वाला पैसा है वो बैंक लेंड नहीं कर सकता है. They can't use that money. They can use the money only after deducting the reserve requirement. So this CRR will go with the RBI and SLR will go with the bank itself, but bank cannot use this money in lending. तो बैंक जो है वो 78.5 CR ही बैंक लोन कर सकता है, बट रिमेंबर इसके ऊपर भी न्यू रेगुलेशंस आते हैं. देयर आर बेसल नॉर्म्स आल्सो दैट कम्स हियर. अभी के लिए भूल जाओ कि वो क्या नॉर्म्स है, बट राइट नाउ अंडरस्टैंड that only 78.5 CR, if the bank has a net deposit of 100 crore and that deposit is in form of demand and time liability, only 78.5 crore bank can lend it. बट उस टाइम अगर हिस्ट्री में देखते हो तो आप देखो सीआरआर कितना था, 15%, एसएलआर 40%. So total RR was 15 plus 40, 55%. Which means if bank has 100 crore rupees as deposit, new deposit, they can't lend 55 crore and they can lend only 45 crore. Okay. Now tell me everybody, यहां तक समझ में आया कि नहीं आया? Are you able to understand this concept or not till here? Everybody? Anybody facing problem? Understood? Okay, Shivani, please repeat, sir. Shivani, इधर बेटा ध्यान दो. जो भी I'll explain. So whatever money comes in the bank, it is a deposit. But remember, ये deposit किसका पैसा है? ये हमारा आपका पैसा है. So bank has a liability to pay that money. ठीक है? So ये जो deposit होता है bank will have to return that money with interest to people like you and me. आपने FD किया है तो बैंक आपको interest देगा ही देगा. If you have a saving account and that money is not being used, then bank will give you interest on that. So it is a liability from bank's perspective. Now वो जो पूरा deposit आता है, let's say we have a window of 15 days, and in that 15 days video, the net money that is coming to your banking system, let's say one bank, total deposit in the country, let's say, is 120 crore. तो वो deposit किस form में आएगा? Either in the demand form, you are opening the account, either in the current account or saving account, or the new money comes in those account, or in the form of आपका surplus पैसा होगा तो या फिर FD करोगे या RD करोगे. So the deposits can be only two forms, demand deposit and time deposit. So in let's say in 15 days total money जो आया deposit form में, that is 120 crore. इसको बोलते हैं GDTL, gross domestic and time, gross demand and time liabilities. But the deposits which are coming, some will withdraw also. आपने account में पैसा डाला आज, कल आपने withdraw कर लिया check लगा के, or you withdrew the money by ATM. The salary comes in account, you're using 50% salary on next day itself. Because the moment the salary comes in, the next day you have make payments to make. You have to pay rent, you have to pay education. For example, moment I give myself salary every month. So moment I give myself a salary, the next day I have to make payments. I have to make rent. I have to give payments to my student, my school fees of my child. Then I have to pay some. Then monthly groceries are brought in. So these are defined expenditure. इसको मैं cut नहीं कर सकता हूँ. So I will withdraw money from the account. Similarly, every saving account, जो पैसा आता है, the withdrawal takes place. But not every person, everything will withdraw. Some will be withdrawn. But जो time deposit है, उसमें withdraw नहीं होगा. Time deposit is fixed. Let's say you have a RD for 2 years. So 2-year money will not withdraw. Only deposit होता रहेगा. You have FD for 3 years. So only for 3 years, 3 years के लिए वो deposit withdraw नहीं होगा. So these are the examples of the money will not withdraw because there is a time limit to that. तो जो भी डिपॉजिट आता है कुछ पैसा वापस जाएगा, विड्रॉ होगा. लेट्स अज्यूम 20 crore इज विड्रॉन. सो रिमेनिंग अमाउंट इज कॉल्ड एनडीटीएल, नेट डिमांड टाइम लायबिलिटीज, और वो कितना है 100 CR. बट आरबीआई कहता है दैट व्हाटएवर मनी इज कमिंग द अकाउंट, यू कांट लेंड दैट मनी बिकॉज नाउ व्हाट बैंक विल डू, बैंक आपको इंटरेस्ट प्रॉमिस कर रहा है, बट बैंक कैन गिव यू इंटरेस्ट ओनली इफ बैंक्स अर्न दैट मनी फ्रॉम सम अदर प्लेस. सो व्हाट बैंक विल डू, बैंक विल टेक योर मनी एंड गिव लोन्स टू पीपल हु आर लुकिंग फॉर लोन्स, business people or anybody who wants loan. And the people who want to, अगर आप business करना है तो आपको loan चाहिए होगा. You want to expand your business, so you need credit. Same is true with everybody. So when you take a loan, because today हम तो consumption के लिए भी loan लेते हैं. We take loans for house vehicles, we take loans for investments, हम घर लेते हैं तो it's investment, so we take loan for that as well. So banks will give loan to people who are needy. But banks will give loan to only those people whom bank believe कि ये पैसा मेरा वापस कर सकते हैं. Now here, but RBI regulations comes in so that the depositor's money is safe. Okay, so that depositor's money is safe. एंड वो डिपॉजिट मनी जो है सेफ रहेगा, तो उसको उन्होंने रिजर्व रिक्वायरमेंट कर दिया. सो 3% विल गो इन सीआरआर राइट नाउ एंड एसएलआर इज 18.5%. So we have a question by Disha. Why was CRR and SLR higher earlier as compared to now? That is what I'm going to explain you, beta. Okay, अभी इतना समझ लेते हैं. What is the time limit when government knows NDTL like 15 days? NDTL has to be maintained every 15 days. Okay, NDTL has to be maintained every 15 days. Not time deposit. Prithvi is saying that in time deposit RR is not maintained. Of course it is maintained. ये जो टोटल है डिमांड एंड टाइम वही तो आपका एनडीटीएल है, because demand and time total is 100 crore, right? Okay, NDTL is total money, which net money, new money is coming in the bank, total new one, I'm saying that is NDTL. So that reserve requirement is SLR is 18.5%. Now what happens? Okay, Disha, I'll explain. Just abhi isko main samjha leta hu, then I'll come to that. So what happens that so is 21.5, दोनों को ऐड कर दे, 18.5 and 3, 21.5. So now RBI says that this 21.5 money you cannot use because this 21.5 is reserve requirement RR. इस पैसे को लॉक कर देना होगा हमें. So what you can do is 100 crore मेरे पास आया, 100 minus 21.5 is 78.5 CR. So I can use only 78.5 CR only. I cannot use. तो बैंक सिर्फ यही पैसा यूज कर सकता है. 21.5% is locked. Earlier, before, remember what I said. अभी बैंक का there are two cases. Case 1, 2021, and we have RR reserve requirement is 21.5. So bank can lend how much? Bank credit can be 78.5% of NDTL. Let's assume, okay? Which means if bank has a deposit of 100 crore, so bank can give 100 minus 21.5, 78.5 crore. So bank can give a deposit of 78.5 crore only out of 100 crore deposit it has. Now let's go back and go into 1975. So case 2, 1975. Again, bank has a deposit of 100 crore. CRSLR total is 55%. So RR is how much? 55%. Now bank can give a credit only 100 minus 55, that is 45%. NDTL loan can be given. Which means if 100 crore is the deposit, bank can give 100 minus 55, that is 45 crore as loan. Now try and understand. In both the cases, case 1 and case 2, in both the cases, bank का profit same रहना चाहिए. Am I right? In both the cases, the bank profit should remain same. Am I right or not? In both the cases, banks will maintain the same profit, right? Now bank दोनों इंटरेस्ट कुछ भी हो फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, बैंक को अपना प्रॉफिट से मतलब है. यू आर डूइंग बिजनेस, इफ आइटम इज कॉस्टली you will pass on the burden to the customer. You want to maintain your profit. That is how business works. You can't give from your own savings to the people. So similarly, now yahan pe there are two cases. Now usually what do you think? Banks wants, why customer will go to banks? Customer bank kyun jayega? You have two cases. Case 1, or when interests are cheap or when interests are costly. आप किस केस में बैंक में जाओगे? You go to bank when, in which case? When the interests are cheap or when the interests are costly? Or when interests are high, you can say. This is low. Tell me. Yes, so you want to take that. Now in both the cases, okay, so you want cheap interest, right? Now case 1 में क्या होगा? Since bank has more money, bank can give cheap interest or lower interest rate. Now here, bank is forced to keep higher interest rate because the loan bank is giving is less. ठीक है, तो बैंक को अपना प्रॉफिट मेंटेन करने के लिए बैंक हाई इंटरेस्ट चार्ज करेगा. एंड हियर सिंस बैंक हैज मोर मनी, बैंक कैन अर्न द सेम प्रॉफिट एट लोअर और चीप इंटरेस्ट. ऑल्सो रिमेंबर द बैंक्स आर इन लॉसेस, बैंक्स लॉस ज्यादा है, सो बैंक विल फर्दर राइज द इंटरेस्ट. इंटरेस्ट वो और राइज करेंगे, दे विल राइज interest more because of losses, and these losses are coming why? Because government is forcing them to do welfare. Okay, so do welfare. So this, तो वही था इंडिपेंडेंस से सॉरी रिफॉर्म से पहले, because SLRs, see when the CRR SLR, the reserve requirement are higher, then bank can give less credit and banks are forced to charge high interest from customers. So when the banking reforms happened, one thing that was seen, one is the limitation of growth of bank system was, or the growth of economy or business was, they said the loan interest is very high, and the reason why loan interest is high because the RR is very high, reserve requirements are very high. So one of the reform that was brought in, that you reformed the bank system and you brought RR to lower level. Okay. Prithvi has a question, sir. If SLR is manipulated by bank, well, normally it does not happen because RBI now regulates, so banks will have to provide regular day-to-day data. So पहले क्या था, हमारा interest rate बहुत ज्यादा था, and if the interest rate is high, loan will not be disbursed, people will not take loan, and that is what happened before reform period. The loans rate were high, and also banks were in losses, so they were forced to charge high interest rate, and that impacted business. So higher reserve requirement made businesses become costlier, and eventually BOP crisis happened. BOP crisis क्या होता है? So what is BOP? I'll just quickly tell you what BOP is first. It is a concept. So this is India, and this is the rest of the world. And when we do economic interaction, so either money will come to India or money will go outside India. So whatever money comes to India, that is called credit, positive, and whatever goes outside is called debit, negative. And this all is done in the dollars. This is all expressed in dollars. Why? Because dollar is accepted currency of the world, most accepted. So this is, ये जो total interaction होता है net, this is called balance of payment, BOP. Now this economic interaction can be in various forms. It can be in the form of trade, export, import. It could be in the form of goods or services. It could be in form of investment. It could be in the form of loans. It could be in the form of deposits to India from outside country, NRI deposits. It could be in the form of remittances. जो भी पैसा इंटरनेशनली ट्रांजैक्शन होता है उसका जो टोटल अकाउंट होता है, that is called BOP, right? So usually what happens, BOP crisis means you are short of dollars. You are short of dollars. And when you are short of dollars, you cannot pay for import. For example, right now Pakistan is going through this crisis. Pakistan में पिछले past 75 years, 7-8 times they have faced BOP crisis. India has faced only once in 1991 when we did not had dollars to pay our import liabilities, और हमको पहली बार ऐसा लगा कि हम अपना लोन का पैसा वापस नहीं कर पाएंगे. So that is what BOP crisis means. BOP crisis, how does it happen? When your export goes down and your dollar income comes down. So during this crisis, India का exports बहुत weak था. Exports became weak and imports became very high. This BOP crisis happened because there was a Gulf War in 1990. Gulf War in 1990, and that led to increase in the price of oil, crude oil, and that impacted the economy. Okay, is it clear, Ankit? Ashish has a very good question, sir. We are net importers. Shouldn't we run out dollars eventually? Yes, we are. Yeah, it happens, Ashish. But see, we get money from investments, right? So we are able to compensate through investments. because India gets huge amount of investments. Okay. So BOP is a topic जो हम बाद में पढ़ेंगे, अभी के लिए इतना ही रखो. I'm sure you must be having a lot of doubts. And these were the crises. So before 1991, India, we faced a problem called BOP crisis, and we faced a problem in the bank system where loans were difficult, and the problem was that loans are very high. I remember because I belong from a business family. So one day I was speaking to my father, and I asked that how difficult was it to get loan, and he quickly smiled at me. He said, "We never took loans during 1970s, 80s. Practically, it was impossible." I said, why? He said, the interest rate was so high and banks will rarely give us loan. It was very rare to get loan from bank. And even if the loan was there, interest was so high that you would think 10 times before taking loan. So if a banking system will not work, they will not give easy credit, then how do you think economy will shoot off or take off? So वही problem उस वक्त भी देखने को मिल रहा था. And that led to a situation where the banks were in losses. So this is what happens. So now हमारा reserve requirement कम है, so you can get easy credit now. One reason, EMI culture. How the EMI culture has come in. In the past 15 years, you'll be surprised to know the number of vehicles in India has become 4 times. Why automobile is going up? अभी आपको कोई सामान लेना है, no easy pay, EMI, just do that. You take items from आप credit card पे लो, and moment you take from credit, you can pay in the installments. Right? The loans are so easy to get today. In fact, today nothing is open. Google knows everything, every payment that comes to your account, every message that comes to your account. So Google is keeping a track. Paytm knows that your money is coming to your account or money is going outside the account, which means you have a relatively decent maybe business transaction. And what these people do, they will offer you, every time, take easy loan. At 2 minutes you can take easy loan. So every day I get messages, or anybody would get messages from banks, credit card holders. For example, I'm using credit card from past 15 years, and I pay my credit times timely. All my payments, I usually my bills and all I pay through credit card, but I pay my interest timely, and that adds to my credit score. My CIBIL score is improved, and I basically do so that my CIBIL score gets improves. At the same time, now credit card people know that this person are paying their interest very timely. मुझे तो COVID period में banks phoned, they called me many times. They said, "Sir, do you want loan?" I said, "No, we are under crisis. Why do you think I want a loan?" I said, "No, sir, you can take loan if you want. You have a good credit history." I said, "No, I don't want to take loan." So that is what today it is easier to get EMI loans. And if you have a good credit history, you can get easily loan anywhere, especially people with fixed jobs. If you're in government job or even private jobs, you go to a bank and easily bank will give you a loan. In fact, if you are doing your business or if you are a movie star, they might not give you a loan. But in the case of fixed job with corporate job or government job, you'll get loan. So that is precisely because the EMIs are less, and the reforms in the bank system has forced the government or have forced the banks that they have to keep their interest rate lower. So आज जो हमारा banking system है, that works on economics, that does not work in what government wants to do. It works on the economics of the deposits. So if the FD rate is low, आपका loan rate भी कम हो जाएगा. Just before COVID, the loans rate were around 10%. Today, the same loans are at 8%. And the reason is that government is forcing the banks to give lower interest rate. And RBI is forcing to do that. So that is how we can say that. So high reserve ratios are always bad for the economy. It's bad for the credit growth, bad for the business, bad for the economy, bad for investment, everything. So that is the problem that we faced before 1991. Is this clear to you? ये समझ में आ गया सभी लोगों को? Any confusion, anybody? And I want each one of you to attend my next 5 lectures, because after this, you don't have to study anything from anywhere. Banking and monetary policy. Because I'm going to cover current issues also. अभी तक का December, आज तक का मैं current affair पूरा cover करूंगा in the coming 5 lectures. So you will feel very comfortable. You don't have to study anything. When the economic survey will come after in 31st of January, then we'll cover that as well. Okay. Is it clear to everybody? Should I move forward? So have you made this diagram? Should I erase it? Should I erase it? You can take a screenshot if you have not made it. ये सब examples है, समझाने के लिए है, and don't worry, you'll fair enough. So what were the issues with high reserve ratio? High cost of credit. So loans were costly. Okay. So the loans were costly. So high cost of credit. Then low business expansion. If the loan is costly, no people will not take loan. They will postpone. The job creation got impacted. Government का tax collection कम था. The government borrowing has to be higher because government has welfare liabilities. So government has welfare, you can say, requirements, social responsibility. So government will borrow money from the market. So that will lead to deficit. Government will be in the losses. Okay. And it will impact the businesses, it will impact the import, exports, it will impact the current account deficit. Current account deficit means current account deficit is a part of BOP. Mainly current account deficit talks about difference between export import of both goods and services. Okay. And also it talks about the remittance income and profit. So current account deficit is the, you can say, mostly जो है export import का difference है both in goods and services. So which means we are India as a net importer, as Ashish mentioned it. So अगर exports कम होगा तो import, आपका already import ज़्यादा है, the why import is higher because India is a net importer of oil. 82% of oil is imported. We import oil, we import gold, we import machinery, we import electronics items, we import chemicals. You say it and you name it, and India is importing. Okay, so that is the limitation. कौन सा वाला? So current account deficit मतलब डिफरेंस, एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट का डिफरेंस होता है बेटा. करंट अकाउंट डेफिसिट का मतलब कंट्री इज अ नेट इंपोर्टर. अगर आप इंपोर्ट कर रहे हो तो यू आर पेइंग डॉलर्स. ओके दर्शिका, और आप लोग ध्यान दो थोड़ा सा, बिकॉज द लेक्चर्स आर बिग. आई हैव टू मेक श्योर, आई नीड योर अटेंशन. ओके, इज इट क्लियर नाउ? So these were the problems with high borrowing. आप सोचो ना, high reserve ratio impacts economic growth directly. Economic growth is impacted, job creation is impacted, export is impacted, taxes are impacted, and that is where it is imperative that banking system should be strong. At the same time, banking system should ensure or should disburse easy credit. हमको easy credit हमें focus करना चाहिए. अभी इंडिया में आप जब लोन लेते हो तो आपको 8-9% पे पड़ता है. You'll be surprised to know when you go to developed countries, they give loan at 1 or 2%. You get loan at 1 or 2%. Can you believe that? And this is a normal interest rate, I'm saying. I'm not saying. When there's a crisis, you practically get a zero interest rate. You get loan at zero interest rate. Okay? So that is the reality. Almost like zero interest rate. During crisis, during 2008-9 crisis, the banks were giving loan at zero interest rate. And why they're giving zero? So that because they want to revive the economy. और वहां क्या है ना, डिपॉजिट जो आप बैंक में रखते हो उसमें आपको पैसा नहीं मिलता. यू डोंट गेट, लाइक इंडिया यू हैव एफडी, बट इन यूएस यू वुड नॉट डू एफडी बिकॉज यू आर गेटिंग इंटरेस्ट मे बी deposit rate of 1%. So you are forced to invest that money in the markets or in the areas where you feel that money will grow eventually. So that these are the issues with high reserve ratios. यहाँ तक clear है everybody? CRR SLR is clear to everybody? Reserve requirement, because that's main concept. Is it clear to not? Okay, fair enough. So these are issues within the pre-LPG. Means what is pre-LPG? Pre-LPG. LPG means liberalization, privatization, globalization. So LPG reforms happened in 1991. So before pre-reform period, these were the problems. Yes, before 1991. So one of the problem with banking system was they were in losses. So banks are facing heavy losses and low profitability. And what are the reasons? The first was lending to priority sector. अभी मैंने क्या कर दिया, आप एग्रीकल्चर को लोन दो. लेट्स से एग्रीकल्चर इज अ प्रायोरिटी सेक्टर. So when you give loan to agriculture sector, farmers are not repaying. Just last week, I was discussing with one of my friend who's a bank manager in the area where I live, and I was discussing. So he had a big, maybe it's 4 pages, 4 or 5 pages document, and he was forcing his team members to call them. I said, who are these? He said, these are all the people who are defaulters. They're defaulting their loan, and most of the loans. I said, who are what is the what is the nature of these loans? So most of the loans are agricultural loans. Okay, so loans are given to priority sector. Government force करती है बैंक को लोन देने के लिए, and the low people who take loan, they are not repaying it. Now there could be genuine reason. I'm not saying that, but there is a poor credit culture in India, especially in the agriculture sector, because people who take loan उनको लगता है अरे because government, the concept of mortgage is not there in agriculture. अभी किसान ने अगर लोन लिया है तो उसका जमीन बैंक ले नहीं सकता है. They can't do that even in the worst situation. So that तो देश उनको लगता है अरे नहीं वापस करेंगे तो क्या करेंगे, छोड़ दो. The only thing that can happen is that if they go for loan tomorrow, they will not get it. Why? Because they have a poor credit score. So if I take loan today and if I don't pay the loan tomorrow, again if I go to the bank knows that, because everything is now integrated, everything is on the servers. So you can't say that you can take a loan from other bank, because wahan bhi jaoge to your score will reflect, because now things are highly centralized. They're getting highly centralized. So the only thing is that you का future में loan नहीं मिलेगा, but you can default the current loan. So most of the priority sector loans are small industries, agriculture, and I'm not saying that these people don't have a problem. Many a time there is a problem, but remember, you can't give this reason to bank. If you say to a bank, sir, I can't give loan, bank will say, sir, sorry, when you signed the document, it was written that if, in any case you will pay the loan. Now, if there are genuine concern, we can look into it and maybe I'll give you some help. But believe me, you have to pay the loan because it is a contract between me and you. So you are, तो एक होता है कि it is poor credit culture is not also because people are facing losses, but there is also a feeling among people that why should I pay? Because होता है government माफ कर दे. Because in India, regularly we have loan waivers. सरकार आती है तो loan waive कर देती है. So banks, but it impacts the bank system. Now that leads to high NPAs. What is NPA? So if you take a loan, you have to pay interest and you have to pay principal amount, right? A part of the principal amount. So this is called EMI. So part of the interest and part of the principal. So that is called EMI. Now, if you don't pay the EMI for 90 days, that means bank will consider that you are defaulting on the loan, and this is called non-performing asset. Because जो बैंक जो लोन लेता है, जो लोन डिसबर्स करता है, बैंक ट्रीट देम एज एसेट. इट इज एसेट फॉर बैंक. ठीक है, तो बैंक जो भी लोन देगा वो बैंक के लिए एसेट है. जो आप डिपॉजिट करते हो बैंक के लिए लाइबिलिटी है, दैट इज लाइबिलिटी. बट वंस that reserve requirement and other requirements are met, now bank when gives loan the same money, it is asset for bank because bank is earning money here. On liability they have to pay interest, but the same money when they come under RBI regulation, and whatever credit they are disbursing, that is asset for them because bank is earning interest income from here. So if you're not paying the loan, that becomes non-performing asset, NPA. Okay, is it clear to you? Is it NPA is clear to everybody? See, today I'm focusing on the concept. Tomorrow I will not tell you these concepts again and again. I'll just move forward. Okay, fair enough. Then one more thing. If you remember what I said that when you have a reserve, ये जो SLR है, तो CRR क्या होता है? CRR आप कैश रखते हो with RBI. But SLR is nothing but it's either in the form of cash, in the form of gold, or in the form of government security. So government security क्या होता है? I'll explain what is government security. So government security, so it's basically a document which says that, let's say government says you purchase a government security of 1 lakh rupees. and government says that I will give you 6% every year for the period of 10 years. And after 10 years, I'll return this amount as well. So you purchase government security of 1 lakh and every year you get 6% money on that. 10 साल तक 6% मिलता रहेगा. तो इसी तरह से government raise money from the market by issuing government security, and this government security is managed by RBI. Because जो भी government का debt होता है, debt management of the government is done by RBI. So government takes the route of government security to raise money from the market or banks, whatever. So in SLR, banks are also forced to invest. Bank have an option to invest in government securities. The good thing about government security is that वहां पे interest मिलता है. अभी SLR में आप कैश फॉर्म में रखोगे तो इसमें नो इंटरेस्ट मिलेगा. गोल्ड में रखोगे तो यू माइट गेट बेनिफिट बिकॉज गोल्ड का प्राइस ऊपर जाएगा तो यू माइट गेट इनकम. बट इन गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज यू आर श्योर दैट यू विल गेट इंटरेस्ट बिकॉज गवर्नमेंट पहले ही कह देती कि हम आप जो भी इस गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी खरीदेगा it is not 6% right now, it is around 4 point something percent, let's say. So government कहता है कि आपको 4% इंटरेस्ट हम देंगे. Now you know that ये जो SLR वाला मनी है वो लॉक्ड मनी है, and this locked money, on this locked money also have to pay interest to whom? Interest to the customers or depositors. So at least यहाँ से कुछ interest मिल रहा है. So government security is a route through which government raise money from the market for their requirement, and that is a very common approach. अभी but एक problem है, if banks are forced to invest, जब आप SLR बढ़ा देते हो, when you increase the SLR, basically banks are forced to invest in government securities. Now that is not right. So we might say that government is forcing, and these are called directed investment. बैंक की मजबूरी है कि इन्वेस्ट करना इन गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज, एंड दे आर डायरेक्टेड टू डू दैट. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड डायरेक्टेड इन्वेस्टमेंट. तो यहां देखो क्या लिखा है, डायरेक्टेड एंड कंसेशनल लेंडिंग फॉर सो डायरेक्टेड एंड कंसेशनल लेंडिंग फॉर पॉपुलर रीजन. अभी क्या कर रहे हो, बैंक्स लोन दे रहे हैं सस्ता, और बैंक फोर्स भी हो रहे हैं दैट दे कीप मनी इन द SLR फॉर्म. एंड जब SLR ज्यादा होगा तो यू हैव टू कीप मोर मनी इन द गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी. So these were the reason high CRR SLR also lead to situation where there is a directed you can say lending. और ये lending किसको जा रहा है? Basically indirectly it is going to government of India or state government. Okay. Or state government. So that is how it works. So that is high CRR, high cost of servicing of loans. Adoption interest rate means government decide करना कि आपको FD पे कितना rate मिलेगा. Lack of regulation supervision. So these were the reason why the banks were facing the losses. Okay. So I hope everything is clear till here. यहाँ तक clear है सभी लोगों को? Prithvi, you will get this answer in the coming slides or coming maybe lecture. So Prithvi is asking when will RBI print money and what are the reasons for it? RBI will print money when they feel there is a need for that, or when government might ask them to print extra money. So mostly RBI will print money whenever there is economic activity. RBI हमेशा money print करता रहता है all the time. Now Ashish has a question. This CRR SLR is for every bank? Yes, every bank which are regulated by RBI, every bank, whether public or private. It is a regulation of bank. तो आपका जो पैसा बैंक में रखा है आशीष, you should be happy because this RBI is ensuring that the money is safe. Okay, is that clear to everybody? समझ में आया सभी लोगों को? चलो, third point number 3, which is third point number 3, directed and concessional lending for populist reason. अभी आप easy loan, आप cheap loan दे रहे हो. Okay, I'll explain this point in detail. Should I wrap all this? Okay. So when bank give loans, so loans are mainly of two types. One are called fixed interest loans, and or other is the floating interest loans. When you go to the bank, you get floating interest rate. For example, if you go and take a home loan, let's say home loan is 8%. But if इकोनॉमी में कुछ प्रॉब्लम आता है तो ये इंटरेस्ट 9 भी हो सकता है, it might go to 10 as well. Okay, so the interest rate is floating as per economic demand and supply or whatever is, because bank have an option to raise the interest rate. But in the case of fixed interest rate, and let's say a very good example is Kisan credit card. The Kisan credit card interest rate is actually 7%, and 3% is paid by the government. So basically 7 minus 4, 3, it is 4%. So 4% is there. So interest rates are fixed in the case of that. So what do you do? For welfare purpose, you are directing the banks to give concessional lending for populous region. So you give subsidy to credit. आप credit subsidy देते हो. अभी जैसे गवर्नमेंट इंटरेस्ट पे करती है, गवर्नमेंट खुद ही इंटरेस्ट पे करी, तो उसको हम बोलते हैं इंटरेस्ट सब्सिडी. And it is also called concept called interest subvention. Interest subvention is a process where government pays a part of the interest, which is nothing but interest subsidy. So mostly when you give to poor people, when you give to farmers, you give directed lending. Now this looks like a good objective, but it come at the cost of loss to the banks. Okay, Prithvi, so that is a problem. Yes, Saloni, if the 3% rebate is there, when if they pay on time, अगर वो time से pay करते तब 3% है. Okay, and that is how they induce credit culture. You're right, it is 3% if they pay on time. So that is called interest subvention. This part is clear or not, everybody? Loan में fixed rate होता है, floating होता है. If you go and take a loan, it will always be floating interest rate. कभी आपको bank fixed interest rate नहीं देगा. Why? Because if the inflation changes in the economy, then banks are forced to increase the interest rate. If bank loses money, तो bank interest rate बढ़ाएगा. अगर inflation बढ़ता है, तो bank अपना interest rate बढ़ाएगा, and you can't do anything. And I'll give an example. I took a loan on car, and that was 6 years ago, the car which I'm driving right now, and the interest rate was 11.9%. I just this loan को अभी खत्म किया है मैंने, 5 years पहले लिया था rather, तो अभी 11.9 ले रहा हूँ, and if I take a new loan today, it will be around 9%. Why? Because the interest rate in the economy has come down. So आप सोचो इतना interest pay कर रहे हो, and तो यहां पर क्या करें, गवर्नमेंट इज फोर्सिंग टू गिव कंसेशनल लोन्स, बट बैंक लूजेस मनी, एंड दैट इज वेयर वो क्या करते हैं, जब इनको इधर लॉस होता है तो दे पुट एक्स्ट्रा इंटरेस्ट हियर. अभी बैंक को इधर लॉस होगा, दे विल पुट बर्डन ऑन द फ्लोटिंग इंटरेस्ट. सो दैट इज हाउ. सो इन द पोस्ट नेशनलाइजेशन फेज द बैंक्स वर लूजिंग मनी बिकॉज दे वर गिविंग लोन टू प्रायोरिटी सेक्टर. और मैं बताता हूँ प्रायोरिटी सेक्टर क्या है. Priority sector lending is an important role given by RBI to banks of providing specified portion of loan to the few sectors like agriculture, small industries, export, education, housing, social infrastructure like education, health, renewable energy sector, and others. Recently, RBI revised PSL guidelines. PSL is for priority sector lending to include entrepreneurship and renewable resources in line with emerging national priorities. अभी देखो, so government is banks are forced to give loans. And today, the PSL target are 40%, which means if bank has a loan of 100 crore rupees, they have to give 40% to these sectors. These are defined sectors, and they have to give 40% to these sectors. And bank has a target to do that. In fact, 18% जो है वो agriculture को देना होता है. Means इस अगर bank का giving loan 100 crore, 18 crore has to go to agriculture. So you as a manager of bank, you don't have an option. अभी क्या करते हैं, bank managers look for farmers so that they can give loan because they have a target to meet, PSL targets. Okay, so this is example. So total 40% of the existing net credit will be given to the priority sector. It is done. It is for scheduled commercial foreign banks. Okay, that is how it is. All banks, Prithvi, every bank. In fact, in some banks like regional rural banks, small finance bank, cooperative bank, it is 75%. उनका PSL जो होता है वो 75% होता है. That means 75% money they have to give to priority sector. Okay. You can see here PSL apply to every commercial bank, including regional rural bank, urban cooperative bank, small finance bank. But PSL, they do not give preferential lending rate. Lending rate वो bank decide कर सकता है. Lending rate can be decided by banks, except in agriculture, because agriculture rate is decided by government. But in other area, interest rate will be decided by bank. Okay. So this was the problem. Before 1991, the priority sector lending also caused losses. अभी आप एक ऐसे सेक्टर को लोन दे रहे हो which you don't know whether the money will come back or not. So these were the problems with the banking system before 1991, and the banks were in heavy losses, and that was a challenge. Now tell me, up till here, everything is clear or not? If you have any doubt, you can ask me, because now we are going to the second phase. We have completed the pre-reform, pre-independence phase and pre-reform phase. And now we'll go to the, now these were the problems, and that is where 1991 जब हुआ तो हमें reforms करना था, and the banking reform were also there. Is it clear to everybody? Chalo. Okay, so let me summarize this in a nutshell. Okay, so let's go. Yes, Ankit, you have a question. नहीं, 14% is out of total, अजीत. ठीक है, 18% of 18%, 40% का नहीं होगा, टोटल का. So that is the priority sector lending. So government PSL applies to every bank, and recently PSL में ये भी हमने ऐड कर लिया. Point number 6. What is the 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Administered interest rate. Administered interest rate, when the interest rate are decided by government. So when the election comes in, middle class को FD interest rate हमने बढ़ा दिया. So middle class is saving in FD. So if the interest rate is high, that is not good for the, that is good for you, but that is not good for banking system. Okay. Chalo. So that is how it is. अंकित, मैं अनम्यूट एंड में करूंगा बेटा. लेट मी कंप्लीट last 10 minutes. I'll take doubts. Just give me more 10 minutes. Let me complete this. So PSL led to indiscriminate lending, political pressure to lend weaker sections too. It led to increased NPA. PSL PSL were mostly in small amounts, so recovery became difficult. So profitability of banks got impacted. Lending poor in backward areas. 40% of target met through loans stepping up in advanced state. And that is where in 1991, reforms were brought in, and banking reforms were also expected to happen. So for banking reforms, we had a concept called Narsimhan. So there was a Narsimhan committee that came into picture. So Narsimhan was nothing but he's called the father of Indian banking system. Sorry, reforms and father of banking reforms. So Narsimhan committee, CL Narsimhan, it came in 1991 and then again 1998. So he was the ex-RBI governor, and he said that PSL should be redefined. It should be 10%. It should be reviewed every 3 years and should be phased out completely. That is what he suggested, but PSL is still continuing. Why he said that PSL should be discontinued? Because he believed that PSL is against the economics of business. Okay, and because these are commercial banks and they are always in losses. Also, जब PSL करते हो, many times you get cheaper interest rate and the credit culture get impacted. So in order to improve that, you have to remove the, you have to ensure that PSL is phased out, removed. बट ऐसा नहीं होता है, बिकॉज यू नो गवर्नमेंट हैज पॉलिटिकल रीजंस, देयर इज अ पॉलिटिकल एस्पेक्ट टू एवरी डिसीजन गवर्नमेंट टेक्स. राइट नाउ अभी फार्मर्स देखो, फार्म क्राइसिस चल रहा है एंड फार्मर इज नॉट बजिंग फ्रॉम दिस स्टैंड. नाउ व्हाट कैन गवर्नमेंट डू? गवर्नमेंट पैसा उनको कहाँ से लाएगा? गवर्नमेंट नोज दैट दे डोंट हैव मनी, एंड इट इज नॉट अबाउट whether farmers are annadata or not. It is also about economics. Okay, so this is what happened. Also, there were concept of social banking where government introduced differential interest rate (DIR), where concession loans were given to 4% to weaker section. There were government schemes where banks assistance was given. So IRDP is integrate rural development program. This happened in 1975. PM Rozgar Yojana, scheme for urban micro enterprise, bank credit to minority communities. ये सारे cheap credit होते हैं. So that is how it was there. So ultimately, all these challenges led to social banking. Lead banking is also example of social banking, where to guide commercial, regional, and rural cooperatives to improve facilities in rural areas and deliver effectively. So district credit, service area approach, ये सारा लीड बैंक सिस्टम में लाया. और लीड बैंक का भी ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या था? So that welfare objective is met through the banking system. So that completes. So I'll start banking reforms in the next class, because थोड़ा सा बता देता हूँ बैंकिंग रिफॉर्म्स के बारे में. सो M. Narasimhan, CLN Narasimhan, he said reduce CRR SLR, which we can see today is less. He said reduction of the priority sector lending quota. He also said that banks should be, competition should be there, and he said new banks should be allowed and there should be more competition. Basel norms हम लेके आए. What are Basel norms? These are standards, international standards for banking system. They said now public sector banks should have more autonomy. There should be no political interference. But ये आज भी सही नहीं है, but broadly it is better than what it was there. He said now there was a banking ombudsman एक लेके आना चाहिए, where there should be grievance redressal mechanism. अभी आप बैंक जाते हो, बैंक does not treat you or does not give you proper service. So what option do you have? You can go to banking ombudsman, which will try to resolve your grievances. Debt recovery should be there, so that loans who are defaulting, we should be able to do that. Interest rate should be deregulated, which means there should not be administered interest rate. Yani interest rate should be based on economics, should be based on demand supply, should be based on not what government believes. Okay? That is how you can say that this happened. Prudential norms of better risk management and transparency. So I'll discuss all these norms in the next class. For now, understand, and these were the reforms which happened in 1981. Now tell me what are your doubts, and then we will close for a day. Tell me what are your doubts. Is it clear to everybody? यहाँ तो समझ में आया सभी लोगों को? Because I'll cover. Now I'll unmute you all. If you have any doubt, you can speak to me and you can tell me. Yes, Ankit, you can speak you can ask your question now.
Sir,
Yes, beta.
SLR होता है जो
SLR होता है जो
हाँ SLR होता है जो
वो बैंक की
लिक्विडिटी
बैंक की लिक्विडिटी बनाए रखने के लिए होता है ना, कि अगर कोई निकलवा आने आके पैसे तो बैंक के पास होने चाहिए.
SLR बैंक की लिक्विडिटी के लिए होता है ना. अभी कोई पैसे की डिमांड करे तो वो उसको दे सके बैंक.
हाँ, ऐसा कर सकते हैं, बट ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है.
जो जिन्होंने डिपॉजिट किया हुआ है, अगर वो एकदम निकलवाना चाहे तो बैंक के पास होना चाहिए, इसलिए होता है ना SLR.
जिनका डिपॉजिट है बैंक में वो सभी एक साथ लेना चाहे तो SLR इसीलिए होता है ना.
वैसा तो पॉसिबल नहीं होता है नॉर्मली. हाँ, बट ठीक है. हाँ, ठीक है. व्हाट यू आर सेइंग इज राइट, अंकित. अगर मान लो जितने भी डिपॉजिटर्स हैं, अगर वो पैसा वापस लेना चाहें तो in that situation SLR money can be used. That is why SLR जो है कैश फॉर्म में होना चाहिए. Normally banks keep 10% of their deposit with them. वो अब 10% अपने साथ मेंटेन करते हैं so that
तो
people can withdraw money.
बाकी गोल्ड उसमें क्यों होता है जी?
बाकी गोल्ड और किसमें?
सिक्योरिटी में
गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज, हाँ गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज.
हाँ जी, बाकी गोल्ड और गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज में क्यों होता है?
की जरूरत
अच्छा
क्यों?
ठीक ठीक है
हाँ
ठीक
जी।
है. आप देखो एक बात बताओ मुझे, अभी जो SLR का पैसा है दिस मनी इज ऑफ डिपॉजिट्स फॉर्म, राइट? वो डिपॉजिट है. किसका डिपॉजिट है? आपका डिपॉजिट है. एंड आपको सेविंग अकाउंट पे इंटरेस्ट मिल रहा है. लेट्स से यू आर गेटिंग इंटरेस्ट ऑफ 3.5% सेविंग अकाउंट पे. अगर आपका FD है तो आपको 5% इंटरेस्ट मिल रहा है. आपको अगर रिकरिंग डिपॉजिट है तो 4.75 का इंटरेस्ट मिल रहा है. नाउ ये इंटरेस्ट का पैसा कहां से आएगा? दिस विल कम फ्रॉम द बैंक. जो है जब आगे लोन देगा तो वहां से लाएगा. बट ये जो SLR वाला पैसा है ये लॉक्ड है. इस पे इंटरेस्ट, बिकॉज CRR पे जीरो इंटरेस्ट. CRR पे RBI डज नॉट गिव एनी इंटरेस्ट, नो इंटरेस्ट. तो SLR में RBI ऑप्शन देती है दैट ईदर यू कैन कीप इन द कैश फॉर्म और आप गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी में इन्वेस्ट कर दो. गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी में अगर बैंक इन्वेस्ट करेगा तो गवर्नमेंट को इंटरेस्ट मिलेगा, राइट? बैंक विल गेट इंटरेस्ट एंड दे हैव टू कीप कैश विद देम सो दे कैन मेंटेन डे टू डे ऑपरेशंस. सो वो डे टू डे ऑपरेशंस के लिए कैश मेंटेन करते हैं. बट बैंक्स विल प्रेफर टू कीप देम इन गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी. ओके, अदरवाइज बैंक का लॉस और बढ़ जाएगा. इफ गवर्नमेंट बैंक का लॉस बढ़ जाएगा देन द लोन्स विल बी इवन मोर कॉस्टलियर. So that is where bank have an option to either keep in the cash form. Now cash form में they will keep only till that amount of money where उनका day to day requirement चल जाए. The gold is another option because gold is highly liquid. Gold को आप कभी बेच के पैसा ले सकते हो. So gold is another option. And institutions, financial institutions across the world like to invest in gold. The third is in government security, government promises interest. ठीक है अंकित, समझ में आया?
हाँ, मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि क्या क्या होगा, जरूरत ही क्यों है इतनी मनी रोक करने कि गैस से तुझे का काम तो चल ही जाएगा बैंक का. तो
कैश के अलावा
जरूरत
पैसा ब्लॉक करने की जरूरत क्यों है?
RBI क्यों कहता है कि
RBI क्यों कहता है कि
ये इतना रखना
अंकित 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 एक काम करो, अपना क्वेश्चन मुझे टाइप करके भेज दो, ठीक है ना? आई विल रिप्लाई इन द पॉइंट्स, ठीक है ना? और फिर हाँ कि बहुत सारे
टाइप करने में टाइम लगेगा.
टाइम अच्छा ओके ओके.
बता
देखो
दो।
RBI से अच्छा
सब
जितना मुझे समझ में आया है, लेट मी एक्सप्लेन इट टू यू अगेन. जो क्वेश्चन मुझे समझ में आया है, सी RBI बैंक इज फ्री टू डिसाइड कि उनको कहां इन्वेस्ट करना है. RBI विल नॉट डिसाइड कि बैंक को कहां इन्वेस्ट करना है, कहां नहीं करना है. बैंक्स आर कंप्लीटली टू फ्री टू डिसाइड. बट RBI हैज गिवन ऑप्शन दैट यू कैन कीप इन कैश फॉर्म और इन गोल्ड और इन SLR. बट अगर बैंक का डे टू डे रिक्वायरमेंट बढ़ता है कैश का, मान लो मोर पीपल कम टू विदड्रॉ मनी, लेट्स से व्हेन देयर आर फेस्टिवल्स और व्हेन देयर इज a rise in the economic activity, then in that situation bank will have to keep cash with them. So they might unlock some part of the government security and use it. But अगर उनके पास withdrawal कम हो रहे हैं, so they want to earn interest on that money and that is why they have an option to invest in government security. ठीक है अंकित? तो बैंक का कंप्लीट फ्रीडम होता है. बैंक के ऊपर RBI का कोई कंट्रोल नहीं होता है. यहाँ पे बैंक सिर्फ ये कहता है that you can't use this money in lending. You have to lock this money for giving loans, or you can lock this money in government security or gold or in the cash form with you. Because अगर कल को बैंक डूबता है, if liquidate होता है, or if there is a crisis, then this money can be used as a security.
Okay, sir.
Okay, chalo ठीक है. Now we have one more question and that is by Ashish, right? Ashish, in lead bank scheme there were banks prioritized for particular place region, so can't they manipulate the interest rate? Well, Ashish, the interest rates are decided by the banking system and they will be universal across India. इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि lead bank scheme में they will give different interest rate. Okay. Mahima has a question. What is banking ombudsman? Okay, I'll explain that quickly. Now, what is banking ombudsman? So first, let me tell you history of ombudsman. So ombudsman is an institution which had a history which started in Sweden if I remember it was from somewhere around 1697. मेरे को age year check करना पड़ेगा. And ombudsman is nothing but it's a grievance redressal mechanism. जब आप घर में रहते हो and if your mother is unhappy with you or mother scolds you, where do you go? Mahima, if mother scolds you, where do you go? Your father, right? Saruni goes to her father, okay. And if both of them scolds you, then where do you go? Then what option do you have? If you have a grandfather, grandmother, you might go to them. Am I right? Okay. So that is where. Similarly, if you go to the bank and bank does not give you services, no services. Now you have an option, you can complain to the regional manager or some higher authority. But remember, they belong to the same bank, so they might take the side of the bank. And that is where RBI said that हमको एक outside, एक नया channel बनाना चाहिए. A new body should be created, which will be ombudsman. So ombudsman is a body which is outside. Normally, ombudsman is a body outside government. For government point of view, अगर हम बात करते हैं, which will focus on grievance redressal. तो आपका जो भी grievance रहेगा उसको redress करने के लिए होगा. Similarly, if banking people do not serve you, so you have an option to go to banking ombudsman, and here there is a body outside bank system which will oversee that. You can put a complaint in the bank's ombudsman on online form. आप online form में वहाँ पे complaint कर सकते हो against the bank. Let's say bank ने आपको misbehave किया or bank did not give you the promise as promised by them in their charter or what normally they are promoting. So you can go to banking ombudsman, and banking ombudsman will have a people, non-partisan people who will try and वो क्या करेंगे फिर उस पे वो they will investigate, and if they found that that bank is at fault, then a banking ombudsman has a power to take strong decisions against the erring officials. So banking ombudsman is nothing but it's a grievance redressal mechanism for customers like you and me, okay, who are using the banking services. Is that clear? Is it clear, Mahima, now? Okay. So any more questions, anybody? किसी क्वेश्चन रह गया है? आज समझ में आया, right? Were you able to get some idea of bank system, history, right? In next 15 days, you'll be able to do that. Ankit, I think I've answered this question. They can't manipulate the interest rate at their wish. No. The interest rate in the bank, Ankit, cannot be. It will be all banking system have a common interest rate across India. They can't have a different interest rate.
सर एक कोई क्वेश्चन है.
बोलो.
RBI SRI.
अंकित एक काम करते हैं, आप बैंकिंग का 2 क्लास और कर लो, ठीक है ना? आई एम श्योर यू मस्ट बी हैविंग लॉट ऑफ डाउट. आप बैंकिंग और मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी क्लास कंप्लीट कर लो, तो आपके जो सारे डाउट्स हैं वो क्लियर हो जाएंगे, ठीक है? बिकॉज अभी क्या है ना, आपके जो डाउट बन रहे हैं वो आगे के डाउट्स हैं. द डाउट्स यू आर पुटिंग मी, दे आर डाउट्स बिकॉज थिंग्स आर इंटरलिंक्ड. तो आपके जो डाउट्स बन रहे हैं, दीज डाउट्स आर फॉर कमिंग लेक्चर्स. सो लेट मी टेक दोस क्लासेस. आई थिंक ऑल योर डाउट्स विल बी क्लियर्ड. ओके, चलो. Ankit, was I able to answer your question?
Very good.
Ankit Raj, sorry. Okay, chalo, fair enough. That is all for today. If any more question, you can ask me, and I'll close for a day. Acha, how many people did you give the test which was there for people who are targeting this year? Indian polity test. Did you attempt? The answers will be shared tomorrow. Banking ombudsman does not come under government, beta. It will be under regulation of RBI. Okay, Saloni? Yes, they can answer. देखना पड़ेगा बैंकिंग ombudsman का legality क्या है. I have to check that. Okay, I have to check that, because that is beyond the scope of the lecture. अभी आपको banking ombudsman बारे में check करना है, just go and maybe just do some R&D. You can Google it, you'll get all what exactly they do, what they do not do. Because banking ombudsman, अगर वो news में है, then it might be there. But we'll not study just for the sake of studying extra thing. It is outside the scope. Okay. UPSC में you have to draw a line as well. You don't have to read anything and everything in depth. Okay. Had there been a case of banking ombudsman, then probably it was important for current affairs. चलो ठीक है, चलो, that is all for today. Thank you very much guys, take care, God bless you. So let's meet in the coming days, right?